I got lucky. I don't belong here. I'm a fraud, and it's just a matter of time before everyone finds out. Sound familiar? That's imposter syndrome talking. Most of us have experienced feelings of doubt and unworthiness at some point in our lives. But when your accomplishments are a result of your own knowledge, hard work, and preparation, and you still feel inadequate, you're probably suffering from imposter syndrome. Welcome back to Rise Within channel, where we're all about finding our inner strength. Today, we're talking about something a lot of us deal with, feeling like we're not good enough. We'll break it down in 3 parts. First, what is imposter syndrome? Then we'll figure out if you've got it with how to tell if you have imposter syndrome. But don't worry, we've got your back. Stick around for 8 tips to combat imposter syndrome, where we'll give you some real-life advice to boost your confidence. Let's do this together. What is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is a feeling of unworthiness or incompetence, despite achieving accomplishments and success. This feeling is most common in the workplace, but it can manifest itself in just about any part of life. Those with imposter syndrome often go to great lengths to hide it, which can stunt their future success. People who suffer from this syndrome often feel like frauds, despite being smart, skilled, capable professionals who actually deserve whatever commendations and praise they're given. Rather than celebrating their accomplishments, they worry that they've somehow tricked people into thinking they're good enough. As a result, they live in fear of being found out or exposed. How to tell if you have imposter syndrome? We often overlook the signs of imposter syndrome that come up in our day-to-day lives. However, recognizing these signs is the first step toward overcoming them. You might suffer from imposter syndrome if you feel like you got lucky when you actually prepared well and worked hard. You find it hard to accept praise. You apologize for yourself when you didn't actually do something wrong. You hold yourself to incredibly, sometimes impossibly, high standards. You find the fear of failure paralyzing. You avoid expressing confidence because you think people will see it as overcompensating or obnoxious. Getting rid of imposter syndrome isn't as easy as positive self-talk and a can-do attitude. While those things are helpful, you'll need to dig a bit deeper to uncover ways to overcome this debilitating mindset. Know you're not alone. When you have imposter syndrome, some of the most important encouragement comes from realizing how many hugely successful people, both male and female, have built amazing careers even while regularly coping with it. Distinguish humility and fear. There's taking humility in your hard work and accomplishments, and then there's feeling overcome with fear because of them. Sometimes simply being good at something can cause it to discount its value. It is possible to feel worthy without feeling entitled, and overcoming imposter syndrome is all about finding a healthy balance between the two. Let go of your inner perfectionist. Many people who suffer from imposter syndrome are high achievers, people who set extremely high standards for themselves and are committed to doing their best and being the best. But perfectionism only feeds into your imposter syndrome. When you feel like a fraud, it's usually because you're comparing yourself to some perfect outcome that's either impossible or unrealistic. Be kind to yourself. Take the pressure off yourself and stop trying to be the expert on day one. Being kind to yourself simply means changing the way you talk to yourself in your head by practicing positive self-talk. Not only can it help you become less stressed and anxious, but it can also help you build the courage to do things that'll bring you greater rewards. Track and measure your successes. When you feel like an imposter, one of the hardest things to grasp is how much of a role you have in your own successes. You might default them to luck or others' hard work, when in fact, your own work, knowledge, and preparation had a lot to do with it. To help show yourself that you're actually doing well, keep track of your wins in a private document. Talk about it with a mentor and your manager. No one should suffer in silence. Sharing your thoughts and experiences with someone else will make you better equipped to deal with your imposter syndrome. We recommend sharing them with both a mentor and your direct manager. Say yes to new opportunities. When you're presented with a new opportunity, it's important to distinguish between the voice in your head saying you can't do it because you're not worthy, and the one saying you can't do it because you have too much on your plate. The former is your imposter syndrome speaking. But remember, taking on challenging new work and doing well at it can open a lot of doors for you. Don't let your inner imposter turn down these game-changing opportunities. They can do wonders to help you learn, grow, and advance your career. Embrace the feeling and use it. It's really hard to get rid of imposter syndrome completely, especially if you've had it for years and years. That's why the best angle from which to tackle your imposter syndrome isn't getting rid of it completely. It's stopping it from hindering your success.